Hello, and welcome to the Street Crime UK YouTube channel. Please don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe. Today we take a look at the case of 3 young men who have been convicted in a random stabbing attack. Anthony Lizzie Adicola, who was 22, was repeatedly stabbed and killed as he walked home from a shift. He was working at the Collingdale Marks and Spencer store in North London on the evening of September the 5th, 2020. Mr. Adicola had unfortunately fell to the ground as he was chased close to his home, which is when the group inflicted a brutal attack in which he suffered 9 stab wounds. CCTV footage of the incident showed Mr. Adicola standing on the pavement, speaking to a few of the group for a few seconds before suddenly running away. Tejan Sabaran, who was 19, and 2 17-year-old boys, who cannot be identified for legal reasons, were convicted of Mr. Adicola's murder following a trial at the Old Bailey. The jury was told during the trial that Mr. Adicola was in the wrong place at the wrong time, as when he was confronted by a group of men, it turned out to be gangsters who had travelled from the rival NW9 postcode area. Mr. Adicola was walking home when 2 taxis pulled up and 8 young men got out. CCTV footage was shown to the jury that showed him being stopped by the group, and after a brief exchange, he turned and ran away. Mr. Adicola tried to make it home, but he had tripped over some concrete bollard on his way into the alleyway, where he was caught by the suspects. The group then stabbed Mr. Adicola at least 9 times in the face, head, neck, back, chest, arms and leg. The fatal wound was one which had been inflicted to his neck and severed the carotid artery in the jugular vein. The group then returned to the waiting taxis and made off. Mr. Adicola was found badly injured and bleeding by his brother and concerned friends who had retraced his route. The police arrived at 11:15 PM and found Mr. Adicola surrounded by people applying pressure to the neck wound. Paramedics carried out emergency surgery at the scene, but despite their efforts, he was pronounced dead at 11:45 PM. The post-mortem examination was explained to the court and gave the cause of death as a hemorrhage and a stab wound to the neck. There were 9 injuries to Mr. Adicola's body, the most serious being this wound to the neck. It was also made clear that more than one knife was used during the attack, and varying lengths and different blades were also used. Bill Emlyn Jones, QC, prosecuting, told the court that there was no evidence of a personal connection between the victims and his attackers. Mr. Jones added, "We are unfortunately left with the awful prospect that he was selected and killed at random. The attackers had come from and returned to Hendon in the NW4 postcode, while the victim was in the NW9 area." Mr. Jones said, "It is the prosecution's case that the defendants were on a raid going into enemy territory, something that is known as a ride-out. When they got to NW9, it didn't matter to them who they stabbed. It was enough to show their NW9 rivals that they could turn up on enemy territory and attack who they liked when they liked." Following the defendants' arrests, all of their phones were examined, as well as other electronic devices that they owned. A Snapchat message 4 days after the murder was recovered from the iPad of one of the youths involved in the crime. The message said as followed: "This is for your own safety. Graham Park and Hendon are having a war because of a stabbing that happened. R.I.P. Lizzie. So when you are finished school, no more concourse. It's straight home. Cause if Hendon catch man, then it's peak, cause they don't care." The court heard that the 17-year-old youth had identified himself as Hendon man. The police had also recovered text messages from his mother on the morning of the murder, telling him to come home and accusing him of taking her knives. The court was told that a black face mask, which was dropped at the scene, was linked to him by his DNA. The other 17-year-old defendant had drafted a text message saying "fuck D9 1,000 times" in an apparent reference to the rival NW9 postcode, the jury was told. On another device belonging to the same youth, the police found what appeared to be a revenge drill rap lyric. The lyrics were described to the court as having a desire to go to the 9 and catch me an op, which was described as a rival, and get them back. A lyric created 3 weeks after the murder referred to being in the 9 from night till morning. The song had ended in the chilling words of "Chasing ops is fun. I love the thrill when I see an op boy run." The court was then shown more CCTV footage from the evening which identified the youth from his clothing. Both youths accepted being present at the murder, but denied being involved in the stabbing. It was alleged that Mr. Sabaran had helped book the taxis which had brought the group down. Traces of blood on the trainer belonging to Mr. Sabaran matched Mr. Adikola's DNA. Examination of all the defendants' phones revealed that they had all appeared to have switched them off for half an hour in the exact time which they had began the ride out. The jury, which deliberated for 21 hours, was discharged after failing to reach a verdict on the fifth defendant, Christian Medina, who was 20 years old. The prosecution had asked for 4 weeks to decide whether to seek a retrial in his case. Sentencing for all three has been adjourned until November the 5th this year. We will keep you updated in any progress on the case. What are your opinions on the crimes which were committed? How long do you think the judge will sentence all three defendants? Do you think that the two defendants who were 17 will get a lesser sentence than Mr. Sabaran, who was 19? Please let us know what you think in the comments below. Thank you for joining us today. If you enjoyed this content, please don't forget to like and share. And if you're new to the channel and you want to see more street crime UK content, please don't forget to subscribe and hit that bell button so you can join us on the next video. Thank you for joining us today, and until next time, stay safe.